Back a lot sooner than you thought, huh? So I'm gonna just throw this over here. Gonna refill my drink, forgot to. My last live earlier, I knocked everything over, so. Who's gonna beat Mr. Crasker on live today? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up 2 cans. I happen to usually use Tutto Rosso tomatoes, peeled plum tomatoes with sweet basil, and in a sweet basil sauce. So that's what I'm using. Hi, Janet. I'm gonna just plug in my phone. Hopefully nothing goes wrong when I do that. I want to make sure there's plenty of battery. So I got 2 of these cans here. And I'm gonna use this fancy can opener. It's gonna be a little loud, so I apologize. Brand new batteries, and it's struggling. Might have to break out the old can opener. Yeah, that thing's seen better days apparently. So, rule of thumb, Mama Monty told me, is for every can of sauce, use 1. She said good size, medium. This is medium, small, something like that. Onion. It depends if you like more or less onion. Adjust for that. So I am going to start that. I'm just going to cut off the butt of the onion here. I find it easier to do this, and then it's easier to get the rest of the onion apart. This one, onion's a little tough, it seems. Wow, that is one tough onion. Holy cow. Alright. I hope that doesn't affect my sauce. Because even with my new sharp knife, that was a little bit hard to cut through. This onion doesn't look too great either, but we'll see what we got. Yeah, I think we got a bad onion here, folks. Well, luck with what we got, right? It's almost as if it was taken out and left somewhere, and then they put it back. But I'm going to peel back what's good. Like I said, you work with what you have. Alright. We got about 1.5. Yeah, my brother got me this knife, my younger brother. I love it. Especially now that I sharpened it, I love it. Alright. Well, I have to think of how I want to cut this. I'm just going to cut this down the middle here. And again, this onion seems a little tough today. So we'll just cut this up quick. If you're not good with the knife, I'm not good with a knife, but you can use those choppers, that you put things in the choppers. Just slap it, a slap chop or something like that, I think they were called. Wow, this onion is just not a good quality today. Which means I have to be really careful because this thing could fall apart while I'm slicing and I could do myself some damage. So I'm adjusting the knife. I'm leaving a lot more uncut so that it doesn't escape me. I'll have to do a little extra work here, I think, with these. Not that I haven't already. Yeah, I used to use the chassis. I'm worried about doing that. The skin is awfully hard on these onions, I tell you. Maybe I asked her to pick up yellow onions, but maybe these aren't yellow onions. See that? Could have had an accident there. Someone's going to say something to me. I think that's why I'm having trouble here. Yeah, the chopper I've used The choppers, I find, while they're good, what a pain is out of clean, especially when you're chopping up onions like this. You gotta take the thing apart and waste like 10 gallons of water, it seems, to clean it out, you know. Now, since I'm not a fast chopper or anything like that, I, myself, don't turn on the stove right away like my mother, because she works quick. So here is the pan I'm going to use. I picked this up at TJ Maxx. This is a Farberware, but I tell you, it's a really nice pan. I've had this thing for 10 years anyway. And I'm just going to pour some oil in there. I may add more depending. But we will get the onions in there. And I will turn the stove on low. Basically, we want to get your onions going first because you need to cook these until they get to like a clear looking onion, and that's when you add in the garlic. Okay. Let's get some garlic. Now, I like a lot of garlic. Donna does not, but I am cooking. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a useless little piece. I don't really do anything with that. But, hey, that looks about good. And gotta peel these things up. The easiest way I know is to cut that end. Well, I forget what they call that end. The root, maybe? I'll just set these there. And I gotta be very quick here if I start to get lackadaisy here, because that could come back to bite me. I can hear the oil starting to not sizzle, but that noise it makes when it starts to heat up. Would help if I had the knife right side up. Good thing I didn't slap the top of the knife to chop down on it. I would have been in for a nasty surprise. Some people will put these in a container, shake it, and it takes the skin, the layer of skin here off. Having lots of trouble today. I did that shake thing once, but worked okay, I guess. Squish a little bit. I'm telling you, that skin just does not want to come off. And got a couple more here. Now I can smell the oil heating up with the onion there. And now I can hear the sizzle. So that means I'm falling a little bit behind here. Because I need to have all those tomatoes chopped up too. Normally I wouldn't have the blender so close to the stove, but I'm a little short on room. I'm gonna get this mess out of here. Get this here, these here, and I am going to chop my first tomato. Again, these are peeled plum and basil. To grab the open one. Sometimes people will wish a little water in there just to get all the sauce out. Do that. And got my KitchenAid blender here. You do have to replace these rubber wheels once in a while. I buy them cheap on eBay. I've replaced them just once though. Bought a 2-pack. Comes with the wrench and everything. This is going to be loud, so I apologize. Puree that. Get down at the garlic. I mean, what do you call it? And I like using this because of the edge on it. And I just kind of chop those down a little bit. And while that's going, I'm going to open up this other can of tomatoes. Made up another 6 meatballs, eating those, Donna as well. Now that I'm ready, I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit more. Now this is a variation of Mama Monti sauce, that's why I say Mama Monti meatballs, because that's pretty much a recipe. But here I just use the onions, the garlic, the salt. If you have, bay leaves or parsley, you can throw a couple in there for aroma and stuff. But I make it very simple, and it's still very delicious. Better than anything you could buy in a can, I tell you. No preservatives. If you have a garden, the only thing you can't grow in the garden, well, I guess you could, is the extra virgin olive oil. Thank you, David. Should be good now. I could add a little bit more olive oil to this, but I'm going to hold off. David, I don't think you were on the live earlier, were you? I don't remember seeing your name pop up. I cannot chop up a second can until I get this one going. I'm going to come up with my own bracket system for this arm so I can do things a little bit differently. Again, these are, you know, a white. As soon as they start to go clear, that's when you're crushing the garlic. If you like using squeezed garlic, you can do that too. That's not what I do. I don't think I've ever used squeezed garlic. No, I could say I have never used squeezed garlic. Is what I should say. The squeezed garlic is definitely easier to use. You know, I don't know if it has what it has for preservatives in it though. So, I mean, I don't know why I would complain about one thing having preservatives, because everything we have, it seems to have preservatives, unless you grow everything on your own farm or something. Oh, thank you, David. I appreciate that. It was about an hour, so a little bit on the long side just for meatballs. After I made the first 6 meatballs, I made another 6. Again, finger food. Just grab it, eat it. The steam may cause the camera to go out of focus and get blurry, so I'm going to move it a little bit out of the way See if I can, anyway. You know, if I had a little meat, I would make a meat sauce too. I guess, you know, that's out of the question now. I don't have any more defrosted meat. But for 2 cans, I'd probably put close to a... 1 can, I think I used a couple of fresh hamburger patties once. Those are probably like a quarter to a third pound each. So, 2 cans, if I wasn't putting any meatballs in, I might use as much as a pound of ground beef. I would grill that separately. I do have a video on that, of how I did that. So, if you're interested, check that out. Now I think I may cut this video short in the sense of once I put the meatballs in, I'm not going to let you sit here and wait here for 45 minutes to an hour and 15. So I might do a third live today with just the meatballs finishing up with some pasta or something maybe. I don't know what you think about that.
Here are the meatballs.
It's a 10-second delay. See, there you are. Donna was kind enough to bring up the meatballs. I get impatient with the this clearing up, getting to a clear color, and end up putting the garlic in too early half the time. It's just, you know, it's the impatient person in me. Thought I saw it browning somewhere, but that was actually just the skin. Not the skin though. One of those layers. I'll just pull that out. Toss it. I threw away more than I should have there, but yeah. Alright. It's because I don't have as much oil. I think they're touching the base a little bit. She walked away so she wouldn't hurt that. Probably for the best, right? Yeah. What? Oh boy, there you gone and done it, Dave. Now she's gonna jump on mine to defend her own honor. Alright, these are starting to get to the point, another minute or two. So like this is clear right here, like a piece there. If I put a little more oil, it might be clear up a little more evenly, but yeah, I bet you did. I wish I could get this camera angle down further, but I also don't have steam entering my phone and causing issues with the optics or the microphone or speakers, you know. Maybe I'll figure out a new way to clamp this down. I have something in mind, but just can't do it today. What I'll do when it comes time, see that? They're now clear, or about clear. So I'm going to throw in the garlic. Donna, can you grab me a knife by chance? A steak knife. Yep. Gonna turn down the heat a little bit here. One of these pieces of garlic I did not cut up, or did not deskin, so let me stir that up quick. There we go. There's just a little bit left. Like I said, lots of garlic. I'm the fan here, Dave. I have an exhaust fan here that would take care of it, but it would just be too loud. So I got everything I wanted off of that. Now we're gonna wait till this gets to starts to get a little golden brown. You definitely do not want this to burn, and that's when we're gonna add the sauce in there. And you gotta pour it slow. That sauce will always splatter up. See, we're already browning up there. The camera thought I tilted it or turned it sideways. See that? It's browning up there. A little faster than I'd like with the garlic, but turn down the heat a little bit more. And then we'll probably end up having to turn this up just a tad, depending on how well the sauce is. Then we'll pour in the sauce, put in the other can, salt, and sugar. The sugar is there to help remove some of the acidity from the sauce. And the last few times I've made sauce, I've put pepper in it. When I've made just sauce, just for a little extra taste. I don't know if I necessarily need it because the meatballs will be in there. And that's the other thing. You cook the meatballs in here an hour. The meatballs absorb the taste of that sauce, and the sauce absorbs the taste of the meatballs, you know, and it becomes one big happy unison family that's going to be eaten by me. Started to print something else from my printer, but I didn't bother putting down the adhesive, so it popped up everywhere. Alright, you see how that's going? Let's see if I can, as you can see, it's starting to brown up just a little bit. There's not enough light here. I keep saying this, I gotta get those other lights set up. And I think we're just about ready. You turn your head for 1 second. I did that once, so it seemed like a second, and then they were practically, I don't want to say burnt, but they were well overdone. But you want to make sure you get that, you know, that golden brown, the caramelization of, or whatever you want to refer to it as, because that's, you know, you want that taste, that cook, that smell, everything. And I'm always stirring it. You could let this sit, but I don't have anything else going on in the kitchen, so I think it's best to kind of just chop it up. You don't have to chop these onions up as finely as I do. You could cut them into little, I don't know, C's or hooks, and they'll break down naturally. But if people don't like those bigger pea chunks of onions in their sauce, they don't appreciate it. That's why I chop it this fine. Look at that. That's the color. You probably can't tell. Let me bring this down close. I trust this bracket because it's a screw clamp, and it should hold this quite nicely. It's actually doing a pretty good close-up job. Can you see that? I think I did the perfect amount of extra virgin olive oil. Now, when you're cooking this sauce, marinara sauce, I don't cover it because when you cook it covered, it's more liquidy. I keep the cover off, and some of that water or fluid evaporates and thickens up. And I don't like a real watery sauce. And then after you put it in the fridge, you know, and use it the next day, it thickens up even more. So I like I said, a thick marinara sauce. Dollar store battery fan to blow steam away from the camera. Yeah, the stove fan, I'll turn off for a second. It'll suck it up at an angle a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, because the intake is off to the side a little bit. But I could also get a USB fan, because my laptop will probably be a part of my lives more often once I get that settled. Okay, before I get carried away, if you look, that's browning up quite nice. I am going to add the sauce. And again, slow, you don't want to dump it. I'm going to just tilt this at an angle and pour that in. Okay. Stir that up a little bit. I'll show you stirring that up a little bit. That's okay, we still got another can to go. We're going to tilt this, otherwise you're going to splash it all over the place. Some people add, like I said, a little water to the can to get the rest of that sauce. And again, since it's going to be left to evaporate, it's not a big deal. Let's get this on the blender. I always say blender instead of mixer, and it's just how blender. That's gonna go. Okay. While that's going, let's talk about what we're gonna add to this. For each can of sauce, I add in a teaspoon of kosher, roughly. You know, I just kind of poured it in my hand. That's enough. When I do it for a food like this, I put in the kosher, or the pig Himalayan, you know. But if I'm just putting salt into water, to flavor the water for pasta, I just use the cheap iodized salt. Okay, and remember, sauce is acidic, so I am going to add, and hopefully you can hear me okay, 2 tablespoons, or I'm just doing spoonfuls of sugar. I will add a third one. You got to do it to taste, really, because depending when those tomatoes were packaged and stuff, different times, different places, you know, the acidity. I'll just put in 3. That up a little bit. The other can will be the other can of sauce will be ready shortly. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit so we can get this. I can see it's starting to pop a little bit, so it's going to start simmering shortly. Let's see how many chunks comes out of this one. Alright, if you don't let it, just get that big plop. Yeah, there was one there. That's okay though, it'll break down. And again, now if you want, put a little water in here. Just gonna mix it up. Now normally, I did this backwards, in a sense. Normally I would get the sauce started and then do the meatballs, but Donna was shopping to pick up the sauce, so I did not have that ready to go. So normally right now, this would be coming up to a simmer, and I would be making the meatballs. And as I would make the meatballs, I would pop them into the sauce. Unplug the blender, folks. Alright, let's get this thing up and boiling here. Not boiling, simmering. I'm going to give it a little more heat than I usually would just to get it going, because I don't want this to be another 1 hour live. I want to get this done in about 10 minutes to show you what I'm going to do. And then when this is ready, I'll go back to live again, and we will start the pasta and the water boiling for the pasta and finish everything up. That was the tongs, the spring let go, and just threw everything around the kitchen. Alright, start cleaning up here. It's gonna take me an hour to clean the kitchen after making this mess. You're funny guy. This hasn't started simmering yet. I'm gonna turn up the heat really high just to get this going. And then I'll turn it right back down as soon as it starts. Surprised it's taken that long for this to come up to that simmer, but well, let me grow this up a little bit. Okay, that's about right. So, like I said when I was talking about the meatballs earlier, you don't want to work them too much. If they have a flat side, I am gonna kind of just touch them up just a little bit so they're rounded out a little bit more, so they're not flat bottomed in there. Flat bottom girls, they make. And I'm going to just start plopping them in. 5, 10, 15. So 17 in this first bunch. Let's see how many we can fit, shall we? This pan will fit 3 cans, but you're not going to fit any meatballs in it. Since we have the opportunity to straighten out these meatballs. Like I said, normally you would make the meatballs second so they'd already be round. You pop them in. Don't overcrowd them though. Alright, as you can see, that is now starting to come up, so I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit. Last thing you want is the sauce boiling over everywhere. So, a good simmer, you can do anywhere from 45 to an hour and 15. That's if the meatballs are fresh and not frozen. You know, it doesn't vary it greatly. But usually this is already simmering when I pop in the meatballs. It depends also on how you like it, because if it's just the sauce, I let it cook 45 minutes. Now these meatballs are big, so I'm not going to be able to get as many meatballs in as I would hope. But anywhere I see a bubbling spot, I know that there's no meatballs in there, in that one spot. So I'm going to just pop that in there. Now again, I'm handling the meatballs again, so it's going to affect the texture. These I popped in the freezer downstairs just to make some room. So these are colder right now. So 17, and we'll see how many. Sorry, Dave, did that answer your question? You know, you buy the frozen ones, they say, oh, 20 minutes. But I let my sauce cook for 45, so it's not 20 minutes for me. Let's see what else I can fit. So that's 17. I got 23 meatballs in there. I'm going to just stir it up a little bit. See what else I can fit in there. Yeah, the sauce is very simple, Robin. It's so much better than canned sauce. Sure, it doesn't have some of the. You know what? I forgot to add the pepper in here. I'm going to do that shortly. Good thing you asked that question. I wouldn't have brought it back to my mind. Okay, mix that up. Again, I'm just re-rolling them to get those flat spots out. Okay, so this makes 27 meatballs. Now that's 27 huge meatballs. And because I didn't pack them down lightly, you got to be careful. You don't want to be rough stirring the sauce because they will break up. Let's see if I can't fit 30 in there. That's a nice, easy number to remember for So, Robin, just remember that for every can, use like a small to medium onion, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of sugar. And you can add whatever else you in there. I always forget the name of the spices, but I'll throw in, what is it, the bay leaf? Oregano. You know, the whole, in the whole parsley in there. And then you take them out just before you serve it. You don't, those are just there for the aroma, you know. I think we're going to end up with 32 meatballs. All right, David. So we'll stop with the 32 meatballs here. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate that. Now, this has not yet started its simmer process yet. So, wash my hands. I'll be back in just a second. No, hand wash that. Okay. Don't forget the pepper. Usually I'll throw like a teaspoon in there. I don't know how much this breaks off, but that fresh pepper just smells really good. Funny story, the Tony Creole was making, I don't know if you're still on there, Janet. We had talked about the Tony Karcher's Creole, whatever this was. I was reaching in the cabinet yesterday, day before, whatever, and I knocked it and it fell right on the counter. Spilled it on the counter, you know, just a little bit. It was closed. But about, I don't know, 30 seconds later, a minute later, I let out a nasty sneeze. It just, that powder just went airborne. Ashton. Hey, thank you for joining. You finally caught the tail end. Ashton, I don't know if you saw, I did a live part 1 earlier with making the meatballs. As I said, if you just popped out, you didn't hear. Normally I'll start the sauce first. And as that starts to simmer up, I start to make the meatballs. I made 5 pounds of meatballs. We're actually at the very tail of this. I'm not going to let you sit here and watch this cook for 45 to an hour and 15. What I'm going to do is come back with live number 3. And we're going to do the pasta and taste everything up and see how it is. Normally I would also make some chicken cutlets and make some chicken cutlet parmesan, but I think that's just a little too much live for me today. It's just a lot of work. If I had a full day to film and I had a crew doing all the filming for me, that'd be a different story. But yeah. So Ashton, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen you on live or see you comment on any. I don't believe so. Usually I ask the question, where are you from? And that kind of thing. Before I forget, my stove has a simmer button, so I'm going to hit that and turn down the stove so that'll keep it at a nice even temperature. A feast, yeah. I love chicken cutlet parmesan. That's probably one of my ultimate favorites. But I do actually have some chicken cutlets I could cook. But again, that's just a lot of food and a lot of work. So we'll just leave it at the pasta and meatballs. And maybe tomorrow I'll do a part 4 with getting those chicken cutlets and then putting the sauce on there. And I got some mozzarella, shredded mozzarella, low moisture in the fridge. Richmond, hey, thank you. I'll have to tell you that I forget where people are from constantly, so if I ask you to remind me where you're from, just be prepared. I apologize. I've said on some of the previous lives that the UK seems to be my biggest live audience, where the US is my biggest pre-recorded, edited audience. But I always appreciate anybody who comes by to watch. I'm going to throw this pan in the dishwasher since it did have meat on it. And Ashton, here are the meatballs I made earlier. I roasted them. The ones in the sauce I do not brown in the oven. But these are cool now. Just go by, grab them, eat them. Great. Oh, these are so awesome. Even they're not cold. They're room temperature. Awesome. It would be great if all of us YouTubers, you know, who do this kind of stuff, got together one day in someone's kitchen and we all just worked on something. One guy does the sauce, one guy does the meatballs, the cheese, or whatever, you know. Or one guy cooks some Mexican, another guy cooks some Italian, the other guy grills something. A massive feast for all of us. Of course, I don't really travel, so that would be hard for me. And my kitchen's hardly big enough for 5 YouTubers to fit in to cook. But who knows, maybe someday. Those meatballs are awesome, awesome. Look a little crooked here. Let me fix that. So, I've got 20 meatballs here I'm going to throw in the freezer. That'll last me a couple of lunches. You know, I need a quick lunch. Throw like 9 of them in the air fryer. That seems to be a good number. These are bigger, so these will probably be 6. So that might be 3 lunches, plus a little extra. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. That's okay, but I want your input. I want to improve, as I've said in the past. Say, oh, Mario, you should have did this. I listen, just ask anybody who's on. They suggest sauces. I do what I can. It's hard to accommodate everybody because there's just so much going on and so many suggestions, but I love taking them all. So again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. Hit the little notification bell so you know when I post a new video and you know when I go live. I think for the lives, I'm going to try to make sure that I notify everybody half an hour in advance, but I've been having some troubles with that. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Take care. I have nothing to unplug because I already put the blender away. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully later today. I'm still live. Ashton, thank you. So we'll see you. Janet, thank you. Robin, David, and Jack, of course, as always. Janet, and I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. We'll see you on the next one.